Hello, powerful one. Welcome to this edition of Inner Growth with Cesar Elimi here. Today, I would want to do a kind of wrap. Let me go over the foundational principles of the teachings that we have on this channel. Because we have so many videos already loaded here. I have not been counting, but I think for now we should have nothing less than 80 videos on this channel. So, what are we talking about? We are saying just one thing in all of the videos. And that thing is, you, my friend, are very powerful. Your mind is the creator of all the realities in this physical universe. And that these realities that we see in this physical universe that are created by mind are not actually realities. They are appearances. That is things that appear to be. They are illusionary. Okay? And that the reality is that every single one of us operating at the level of mind are operating a dream world. We are all dreaming. Now, there is a point in one's life when one wakes up. And when you wake up, your morning has just begun. And at that time, you begin to control the mind. That is when you have become self-aware. Okay? But to get to that level, you need to consistently build towards it. It's a process of building towards self-actualization, self-awareness. And there are certain things I have been saying that we must avoid. First one to avoid is that don't allow your mind to be the dictator of your life's experiences. If you do, you will keep having experiences that you are not happy with. We keep asking yourself, how come in spite of my best effort, why am I always getting things that I don't want? It's like that young lady that was saying, how come the best guys that I desire, I don't have them? It is the one that I really don't love that I have. Simple. The lady did not know that she had accepted a program that says that she doesn't get what she wants, that she is not worthy of those guys. And if she had sat back to analyze her emotional responses to the presence of thought of those sort of guys that she considers top class that are worthy of her, she will realize that she has this feeling that I am not worthy of them. If you have a feeling of I am not worthy of anything, you can't get that thing because you can't attract it. You will be repelling it, because that idea that says I am not worthy of this person generates a repulsive energy that runs towards the person, and the person runs away subconsciously. It's not something that they do physically. They just see themselves not being interested in you, no matter how beautiful you are. It's the program. And that these programs were not mostly created by us. They are created by our environment. Our parents did it. The hospitals where we were born, they did some good number on us when mommy was under labor. When we were newly born, all the people that came to cheer us, to welcome us into this world, they said a couple of things, and these things got recorded by our subconscious and they became programs that run our lives. If you check it very close, you find out that in families where divorce is a common thing, where women don't seem to stick to a husband, it runs all through until one person wakes up one day and says, no, I have to change this program in my life. It becomes a recurring decimal. Families where you have financial difficulties, if a dad went in and out of money at some point in their lives when the children were young, they actually between age 0 to 7, at that point children's subconscious gateway are wide open, and the vibrational frequency of the mind is at theta, which is an absorbing frequency. They pick every experiences that are around them, and the creator did it wisely, because at that level, when the child is born into the world, it's totally blank. It doesn't have data. He has to acquire data to be able to survive in this world, and the only way it can be done is for that frequency to be open. Is the state of hypnosis. Okay, and then the child start picking everything. That is why children learn very fast, and the process of training children, of course, at that age is repetition. And what we have said, based on the epigenetic research that has been done, we have come to realize that human beings are not victims of their genes, but rather they are victims of their environment. That it is the environment of the human being that determines the person's responses to life. And science has shown that that same theta brainwave mode, that is the mode of the mind that makes us susceptible to hypnosis, is also available at a very crucial moment in the life of a human being. One, when the person is drowsy, is about sleeping. At that particular moment, that is the time for hypnosis to work. Okay, this is one reason people go to church all night prayer. Most of the time they are drowsy. That is when they are absorbing all the teachings, all the data that is coming from the church. Mostly preachings don't happen as soon as you get to church on an all-night prayer. No, preaching happens when you have sung and you have danced and you are now tired. You now say you can now sit down. More than half the population of the church is dozing. They are just dozing off and coming back on, nodding their head, trying to wake up. Every single preachment, every single thing that the minister mentioned at that time goes straight to the subconscious of such people. They won't be aware of it consciously, but it will be at their subconscious base. It will begin to run their lives. Any attempt you will make to try to change them with logic, it will not work, because you are talking to a program. It is like when you have an audio recorded on a tape and the tape is playing. You can't scream at the place, say, stop, don't say that, say it this way. It will not listen. The only way you can stop that is to press the record button and say what you have to say over it. You get it? You can change the program that is in you. It's not for you to go and look for the program. It's for you to create a fresh program that you consider your own life's desire. Record them on the tape. Thank God these days we all have smartphones. You can record the kind of experience you want to have. You record them. I am a powerful being. Whether the world respects me or not, I love myself. Just write them out. I'm a man of peace. I'm a woman of peace. I'm a being of power. Okay? Just as much as you can. Don't use not. Now, I don't know where people got this idea from. Where you are praying, you merge negative with positive. You say, for example, I hear you people saying, I shall not die but live. What is that confusion all about? You are not making any statement. You are confusing your mind. Mention what you want and leave out what you don't want. It is the same way I tell people. You don't talk about God and at the same breath talk about evil and devil. Because what happens is that it is the element that has the higher energy that the mind connects with. Most of the times when you talk about God and devil, your energy is stronger on the devil part because you hate the devil. So I beg you, focus on what you want and leave out what you don't want. See, life is about energy. You are energy, I am energy. The mind consumes energy. And where is the energy coming from? I said you are energy. So the energy is coming from you, the soul, the spirit. And that energy is what creates all the things. It is what the mind uses as raw materials for all its manifestations and all its reality generations. So if your energy is bad, how will an energy become bad actually? It's simple. When you merge a negative thought with your energy, it corrupts your energy. So there's really no bad energy out there, but what really happens is that you have energies that have been corrupted by bad thoughts, energies that have been colored by negativity. That is what happens, and this destroys your capacity for growth, for development. Now, all the teachings we are doing in this channel is that, yes, you have so much power, but there is something that subverts that power. It is called your environment. Your environment subverts you, because the environment is the market from which you shop for creative data. If your environment is hopeless, then your life will be hopeless. But this is what we teach, that There are two types of environment. You can create your own environment. It is what we see as environments are really not the physical ones, because mind sees from the perspective of perception. Mind does not see what is. It sees what its data permits it to see. I'll give you a very clear example. You are a Nigerian. Let's take that. Or an African. Let's take Nigeria. You are a Nigerian. And you have this belief that your country is a very hard and difficult place to live in. That success is not easy here. That the only way you can make it is to leave your country. Some of you are going through the barge, crossing the Mediterranean and drowning in the process. You think your country is so bad, it's unlivable. Yet, there are other Nigerians who are living in Nigeria. They are succeeding. They are millionaires. They are billionaires in Nigeria. That same country you find it difficult to live in, they are living in it and thriving. Foreigners are coming into Nigeria and not wanting to live, and they are making so much money. They are making the life of their dreams. Then you ask yourself a question: why is it so? It is environment. The most important environment is called the mental environment. Okay, the mental, the supraphysical environment. Okay, if you want to look at it that way, the epi environment. That is the environment that is in your mind. And what is that environment? It is an interpreted environment. It is based on your experiences. And these experiences, most of the times, are not even yours. Most of them are experiences created by people you consider to be very relevant, very important, very significant to your life. They create this environment for you, and you wholly hook, as they say, line and sinker, suck them in. Of course, they drive your reality. They color your interpretations of things. And of course, as you think, so you are. So if you believe that you cannot succeed in Nigeria, then you become so. A lot of the times, there are hackers of experiences. They just create a lie about a situation and they start propagating it to over and over and over. And people keep listening to them. They keep absorbing them. Over time, it becomes their reality. Okay, now, as a human being, it is the purpose of this channel to make you rethink your experiences of life, to make you rethink your position in life and ask a question. A majority of the things I have believed, don't bother about asking whether they are real. A majority of the things that I have believed, were they created by me? Did I experience them? Did I ever question them? There are some people who are so locked on the traditional practices of their people without even knowing what it is. They just take it as it is. They don't bother to find out why. There are those people who have accepted the religion hook, line, and sinker. They don't question. Even when they pick the book of that religion, let's say the Quran or the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, and they start reading, when they get across material that kick against those beliefs that they have, know what happens? They have what they call perceptual blindness. They will even read that passage, they will quote it to you, but they won't be able to catch the sense. And when you are explaining the sense to them, they are dazed. It's like you talking to a program running on TV. You have a program running on TV, and the person is saying there is a volcano erupting, hot magma at so peak. I say, no, it's a lie. There's nothing like that in Nigeria we are talking about. But as you are saying that, the program is running. So it's oblivious of your existence. That is how difficult it is. Not difficult. That is how impossible it is to try to correct a person being run by a program. All beliefs are programs. This is what the wise one says. When a belief comes to you, keep it neutral. Don't accept it. Don't reject it. Just leave it. Accepting it simply means that you are losing your power to that belief without proving it. Rejecting it is losing the opportunity to get a golden opportunity to grow. Okay? So what should you do? Leave them. Let them stay neutral. There's a place in your mind called neutrality. Leave these beliefs that have not been proven in that place. What will you be doing? Do your research And when your research validates the beliefs, when I mean research, I'm talking about enough data, not picking 3 or 4 data and then say the belief is not correct. No, you have to have enough data that confirms the belief. And then you say, okay, fine, acceptable, I will take this belief as it is. But until you have data, don't embrace it. Because if you embrace powerlessness, you become powerless yourself. That is how we lose our power. Otherwise, we are perpetually strong. We are very, very powerful. Nothing in the world is as powerful as we are. No God, no angel, no demon, nothing is as powerful as you are. The only thing that is more powerful than you is the Almighty. And how come we human beings are always weak before demons? Before all of this is because we have allowed the agents of the exterior world to damn our energies at every stage of our lives. We now have to depend on devils, on gods, on angels, on demons to direct our lives because we have lost our identity. Even when, if you understand how people who use devils function, you will know that when they get there, they command the devils. They command them when they have prepared themselves through the process and they have the incantations. Check out all the incantations they use about commanding. That does not reveal to you that human beings are more powerful than these entities. Of course. But how come you need them? Because you have lost your place in life. Losing your place in life makes you smaller than the forces around you, and therefore they control you. You don't need to be spiritual. All you need to do is to control the content of your mind. That is where powers, that is how entities control human beings. They load contents into your mind using their agents around. Their agent could be pastors, they could be imams, they could be teachers in your school, they could be media, a lot of media, yeah. They could be babalawos, whatever. They load you up with data that will make you smaller than you really are. The more negative data you absorb, the smaller you become. And the smaller you become, the more susceptible you are to manipulation. If you want to overcome manipulation, then do all the exercises I give in these videos. I have been doing them, and I know the impact they are making in my life. And there's this rule: if you try it after 1 month, it has not yet worked, don't give up. There's this rule of 254. That's 254 days of consistently applying these principles will make them native to you. You can change your life in the space of 254 days of consistently applying these principles. Don't let any human being talk you out of it and telling you that it's not working, your life has not changed. It is a process. Your life became what it is over a period of years. It was not overnight. You had from your last trimester of pregnancy till when you were 7 years old to be messed up. 7 years. Now you want to change it in 1 month, 2 months. It doesn't work that way. In fact, that thing that says it must change in 1 month, 2 months is even your enemy, is the negator. It's the negator. So you need to overlook it. Focus and keep doing it. Tell yourself every single day, I will do these exercises. I will focus on these things in 254 days. But this is what I'm telling you: consistency will bring about change. You may not even get to 254 days. Changes will happen. There are people in this world who don't take medication. When they are ill, they know what to do and they get well. It is because of the programming that they have imbibed. Okay? There are people who cannot be hypnotized. No matter how hard you try, it won't work. Why? Because you can't make them sleep. You cannot reduce their frequency to the level of being able to be hypnotized. You know, there are 4 levels of the human mind. You have the beta mode. That mode is that of high activity. Like now I'm talking to you, my mind is functioning at the beta brainwave mode. When you are learning, it's on beta. You are in heavy activities, you are doing sport, you are running all over the place, all of that, you are studying a book, is beta brainwave mode. Nobody can hypnotize you at that point. Okay? Then there's a moment when you now calm down, you relax. You're no longer working. You've come back from work. You've come back from school. You've come back from wherever it is you went, and you are now relaxing, just relaxing at home, watching TV or with your family. That is the alpha brainwave mode. You are calm. Okay, nobody can hypnotize you at that time. But this is where the danger comes. If you are now sitting and watching TV and you start dozing off, you are dozing, you've entered the danger zone, which is the theta brainwave mode. A lot of people are always in front of the news, listening to the bad news of the land, and in the process they slip off. As you are just dozing, entering into sleep land, whatever is coming from the news is seeping into your subconscious, because the gateway is open. Because at that point in time, you are at the theta brainwave mode. You are manipulable. So it happens. But when you have sunk into deep sleep and you are sleeping off, you are now in delta. At the delta brainwave mode, nobody can hypnotize you. There's nothing anybody will say to change you. Some parents operate a principle where they want to change the mindset of their children. When they are dozing off, they start talking to them. My son, you're beautiful. You are powerful. And you know this. Wisdom is your companion. Strength is your character. You start saying that you want your son to become, your daughter to become. It works. Over time, if you keep doing that, the data will seep into the subconscious mode. When the child has slept deep, you leave the child away. There's this book I read of Ben Okri, Nigeria's own Ben Okri, you know. He wrote this book called Star Book. I bought that book around 2004, but I can't remember exactly when now. I read, I think 2008, yeah, Star Book. I read that book and I saw a lot of wisdom in it. You should understand there's so much power possibilities at that point in your life when you are about sleeping. That's why I tell people, don't doze off in the bus. Don't doze off in public places. Because whatever is happening there will become part of you. Don't you know that the energy of a city is actually the energy of the people in it? But there are some people who live in the city and they don't have that energy. They transcend that energy because they were not hypnotized by it. I stopped watching the news about 3 years ago because I discovered that the news had destroyed me. They had messed me up over the years. Okay, especially when the news about Nigeria became so bad that we started carrying the news of hunger, carrying the news of negativity about our country. It is wiring our people for evil. It is removing the powers of our people. It is removing the capacity for our people to evolve. Because these lies are helping nobody but destroying everybody. There is no benefit in complaining. Someone said his name is Julian Treasure. I watched him on TEDx. He was making his a powerful presentation. He said complaining is viral misery. It is not spreading sunshine and light in the world. But the idea of Nigerians making complaints the basis of their living is shocking. I don't think Nigeria is the worst country on the planet. If you go and take the indices of bad countries, so to say, when you check it, find out Nigeria is very, very, very far removed from all of those things. I'm yet to see a country whose nationals bash as much as Nigerians do Nigeria. You will think Nigeria is the poorest country on the planet. You will think that Nigeria is the worst place to live in. When I was in Hollywood some years back, I met a Hollywood director who told me that the reason they could not invest in Nigeria, they could not bring their studios to Nigeria, is because they see Nigeria as Cambodia, as one of those drug countries. And I almost cried. I said, friend, what are you talking about? I said, your diplomats come to Nigeria and they don't want to leave. And there's no place as free as Nigeria. But how are they ever going to accept that truth from me? So he said, hey, my friend, you got your word cut out for you. You just have to preach it. You just have to preach it. Okay? Now, there are so many naysayers about this country. There are so many negative talks, so many negative news about this country. And we want to remember the bad about our country. We don't want to remember the good. And what are we doing? We are undoing ourselves. We think, who are we really doing? Who? Sometimes I am tempted to believe that most of these people that are teaching us, that are encouraging us to keep seeing the evil of our country, are paid enemies of this country. There must be somebody, there must be a group out there paying them to do what they are doing. Otherwise, what are they benefiting from it? Are they so illiterate? Are they so backward that they cannot understand what is simply stated out there? Even most of them are Christians and they cannot read their Bible that as a man thinketh so easy. And they will say that you should think good about Jerusalem. That is the Jewish nation. Speak good of Jerusalem. Nigeria is our Jerusalem. What are we doing about it? We are speaking evil of the country. But there's only one thing I know. That whoever speaks evil and propagates evil about their country, they will also suffer those things that they are preaching. They may have the money, but you see what? What is the benefit of having money when you live in misery? It has been said, I just quoted Julian Treasure now. It says that complaining is viral. Misery is a misery that has gone viral. It's a virus of misery. All it does is that it plants more misery in the people that complain. You can be a difference. You can decide not to join the group of complainers. You can decide not to join the group of blamers. Now, I discovered that in the Royal House of Windsor, that's the British royal family, they have 3 tenets that drive their relationship with themselves and their outer world. 1, no complaining, no explaining, no blaming. 3, complaints, explanation, blame, apportionment. They don't do it. Now, which family is as powerful or more powerful than the Royal House of Windsor? But we have chosen to embrace blames. We have chosen to be complainers by profession. It has become the way of life in Nigeria. Can't we learn from the very best and decide to become the best on our own? All we are doing is copying the negative things we see all over the place. So I am begging you, change your mental environment. That is where your life is built from. Nigeria can be bad for you, but it's good for me. I shared this thought for so many years, and I know what it did to me. And I am begging you to stop it, because it is not a good thing. Okay, it's never a good thing, because as you think, so you are. As you feel, so you experience. It is not woke to be speaking evil of your country. I know what is going on right now. People are coming up, they are doing videos on TikTok, doing videos on Facebook. All they are doing is bashing their country. It is disgraceful. Thank you.